Welcome back, Year 7. This is lesson 2 of your Ice on the Land topic, and today we're going to be looking at the different jobs that glaciers do. The first thing I need you to do, please, before you watch any more of this video is make sure that you have done the quiz, which is as a separate entry on Show My Homework. It will be an orange bubble. That looks like the bit that you can see below on the screen there. This is a 10-question quiz based on things that we covered in the first lesson. You can have up to 3 goes or until you get 10 out of 10 or as close to 10 out of 10 as you can, and your teachers will be making a note of what you get on this quiz to see how well you did with the stuff that was in the first lesson. So make sure that you pause this video, have a go at that quiz, and then come back to this video. So as a quick starter, I want you to take a look at this photo that you can see here. You can see a large area of bare rock, and it's got some scratches on it, some kind of stripes almost. So what I'd like you to do is either in the back of your book if you've got your book, or just on a piece of paper, write down 3 questions that you have about this picture. Okay, so as a very quick recap of all the things that we covered last week, here is some of the information about what happened during the last ice age, where it covered, when it happened. So last lesson we were looking at ice coverage on the Earth during the last ice age, which was called the Pleistocene era. And this lasted from about 100,000 years ago and ended about 10,000 years ago. So during that time, a lot of the UK, almost down to where you are in Baldock and the surrounding areas, was covered in thick ice, covered in glaciers. And in fact, it wasn't just the UK that was covered, but about 30% of the whole Earth. Nowadays, only about 10% of the Earth is covered in ice. So there was huge amounts of ice that covered entire countries, entire continents. And the people that were living on Earth at that time would have had to have moved away. They would have had to try and cross the land, because at this time Britain was still joined to the rest of Europe, and so they would have had to move further south to find somewhere a bit sunnier. So the first thing I need you to do for today's lesson then is I would like you to please click on the separate link that's in Show My Homework. There are 2 video links, one which would take you to this video, and then there's a second one which will take you to a nice little animation that explains the jobs that a glacier does. So pause this video, go to the other one, watch that. It's literally 2 minutes long and it's just a really nice way of showing you what glaciers do, and then come back to this video and click play again. So hopefully in that lovely video you have picked up on the idea that a glacier does 3 really important jobs, and they are the same 3 jobs that a river does. So all of that information that you can remember from when we looked at our rivers topic a little while ago in Year 7, the glacier is basically just a big frozen river, so it does all of the same jobs just in a slightly different way. So a glacier, like a river, erodes material, picks up material like rocks, bits of sand, stone, etc. It transports this material and then it deposits that material in a new place. Now, unlike a river, a glacier does this in the following ways. Freeze-thaw weathering happens first. So this is when water fills in cracks in and around the rocks, and when that water freezes, which it does because the temperatures are a bit colder, the ice is larger than the water. It expands and therefore it kind of pushes apart any cracks that there already was in the rock, and it breaks little bits of rock off. So this weakens the rocks, ready for plucking to happen. So plucking then happens when the glacier freezes around these loosened bits of rocks, and when it freezes around and the glacier slowly slides downhill, it picks up that rock with it and plucks it away, just like if you were plucking your eyebrows. Those rocks that have been plucked and are now inside that glacier act to scrape away at the bottom and at the sides of the land that's around the glacier. And that's how we get the scratches and the scrapes that you could see on the picture that I showed you right at the start of the lesson. This is called abrasion. All of this material that's now being covered, being carried in the glacier, is being transported. It's being moved from its original home to a new home. And eventually, when the glacier starts to melt, so this happens in the summer when the temperatures get a little bit warmer, or at the end of the ice age when temperatures in general were increasing, these rocks are then deposited as the ice melts and they're left behind. So what I'd like you to do with all of this information that you've just encountered is I would like you to create a glossary, which is a collection of key terms and the definitions and what they mean. You will have done glossaries for previous topics in geography and no doubt in other subjects as well. So I've put a little introduction for the first word that you need to include, so a definition of what the word glacier means. This is the sort of thing I'm looking for. The information that you need to do it can be found on the slide before this one and the video link that you've already watched, as well as the BBC Bitesize Key Stage 3 website, which I've also linked on Show My Homework. That's got some really nice explanations. The explanation should be in your own words and they should be at least one sentence long. I'm not looking for single words because it's not really going to help you remember what they mean. This should take you around 15 minutes and you are going to be using this glossary and adding to this glossary throughout the topic, so it's really important that you make a good start to it now. So pause this video, have a go at that glossary, and then I'll just move on to the last little section of the lesson. The last thing I want to start to talk to you about then are some of the features, some of the amazing scenery that glaciers create. So the reason why we're looking at glaciers is because they create some of the really famous backgrounds, some of the really famous features that you would find in a lot of the northern parts of the UK. So if you've ever been to Snowdonia in Wales, if you've been to Scotland, the Lake District, etc., you will have seen scenery that looks like the one in the picture on the left and also in this picture here. These are called corries and are one of the many amazing features that glaciers can create through the processes we've talked about today. So what we will do in our next lesson is start to look at how these features are made and what makes them so spectacular and what they look like once all of the ice has gone. So I look forward to you joining me for your next lesson. In the meantime, stay safe and I will see you soon.